Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jason and I am one of the co-founders of SWAT English Academy here in the Gangnam district of Seoul, South Korea. I've been an English educator for over 15 years now, and today I want to go over 3 common English grammar mistakes that pertain to 3 specific vocabulary words that are usually used incorrectly or out of context. So we're going to be taking a look at these 3 common mistakes and how you guys can fix them. All right, the first common grammar mistake that we find is use of the word borrow. And the definition of borrow is pretty simple. The definition is to take or use something that belongs to another person with the intention of returning it. Now, how this word is often misused, and I hear it in my classroom all the time, is a sentence like, could you borrow me a pencil? Well, in this case, whenever you use the word borrow, I always tell my students, try to switch the word borrow with the word take, because borrow means to take. If you're borrowing something, you are taking something. So does that sentence work if you switched borrow with the word take? Could you borrow me a pencil? Could you take me a pencil? Those sentences sound very awkward. So what we need to do here is we need to change the subject, right? The reason why this sentence is all confusing is because the subject is you. Could you? You need to erase the you and change it to I, because you're the one who wants to take something. You're the one who wants to receive something. Could I borrow a pencil? That works. Could I take a pencil? Remember, borrow and take are synonymous, right? So that's how we would use that word in that sentence. Could I borrow a pencil? Could I take a pencil? Now, on the flip side, if you want to be the giver, or if you're asking someone else to be the giver, that word is lend. Lend and give are synonymous. Lend and give have the same relationship on the opposite end that borrow and take has. So you would say something like, could you lend me a pencil? You're asking the other person to give. Could you give me a pencil? That works perfectly well. So in this particular case, guys, don't misuse the word borrow by mistaking it and misusing it in this way. Could you borrow me a pencil is a sentence I hear all too often, and it's a very, very common mistake that ESL students make. So the second common grammar mistake that I often hear is with the use of the words suggest or recommend. These 2 words are pretty synonymous, and the meaning is pretty simple. The definition is to mention a plan or an idea for someone to consider, right? You suggest something to someone or for someone. So a common mistake I'll hear is a sentence like, could you suggest me a good restaurant? Could you recommend me a good restaurant? The grammar mistake here is it doesn't really require the object pronoun right after the word. You shouldn't place the word me immediately after the verb suggest or recommend, right? So you should omit it completely. Could you suggest a restaurant? Could you recommend a restaurant? These are much better sentences and they're grammatically correct sentences. So guys, don't put the object pronoun right after the words suggest or recommend. If you absolutely must mention the object pronoun, you can do it at the end of the sentence. Could you suggest a good restaurant for us or for me? Something like that. Could you recommend a good restaurant for us or for me? At the end of the sentence is where you could put the object pronoun, but not immediately after these 2 verbs. This is a mistake we hear all too often. Don't do it. Don't be a donkey. The last word I want to go through with you guys is the word advice. This word gets commonly misused, but interestingly enough, not because of the definition. Everyone seems to understand the definition of advice. Advice is simply guidance offered to another person on some course of action. So the reason why this word gets misused is because they use it as a plural noun. For example, could you give me some advices on how to improve my math scores? There's no such word as advices, okay? It is not a countable noun. This is only one noun that gets misused this way. We're focusing on only this one, but I could honestly list at least 50 nouns that get misused in this form. So advices is not a countable noun. You cannot put the S at the end of it. Please remember that. The proper sentence would be, could you offer me some advice on how to improve my math scores? Always advice, never advices. Please remember that, guys. Okay, guys, so to wrap up, please be a little bit aware of those common grammar errors for those particular vocabulary words. These are errors that we hear all the time. No big deal. Don't get discouraged if you're one of the people who do make mistakes like this, but just be mindful of them and try to improve on them in the future. If you want any information regarding SWAT English Academy, that should be in the description box down below. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and all that good YouTube stuff. I'll be seeing you guys again for more tips on how to improve your English. Thanks a lot, guys.